warm-up, graph the given function. Last time we figured out what that parent function looked like. So we want to graph the given function, which is y equals negative absolute value of x minus 3 plus 2. From last time, we figured out that the absolute value function, y equals the absolute value of x, looks like a V, something going like this. And then what we did to the absolute value function is that we did some transformations to it to create the new function. This particular function has 3 transformations. One transformation, when you have a negative in front of the absolute, means that it gets flipped. So it will be reflected about the x-axis. So that's the first transformation. So if I quickly just kind of go through the transformations, you don't need to be doing it this way, but I just want you to understand exactly doing all this work. If we do that, y equals absolute value of x is this particular graph, because that's what it is, and we apply the first transformation, then we're going to get this going on. Y equals negative absolute value of x, and if I was to graph y equals negative absolute value of x, then it's going to flip it. This is called a reciprocal, that's reflected about the x-axis. So this particular function is now going to flip on over. This particular function is going to flip on from the respect to the x-axis. So just kind of like it gets flipped. So it's going to now turn out to be like this. If I continue on with the next transformation, and let's say that the next transformation is, this is the next transformation. That one is what? Horizontal shift. It's going to shift it. And this is the weird one. It's going to go to, instead of you think it's going to go minus 3 to the left, it goes the opposite. It's going to go to the right plus 3. So then we're going to do y equals, we already did this transformation. And in addition, we're going to do move it to the right 3. So this particular graph is going to move to the right 3, which is this graph here. It's going to move to the right. See, I'm going to use this as my reference point, move it 1, 2, 3, and just keep it going down like this. All right? So now this is what we have. Then finally, we're going to do the last transformation, and the last transformation is this. And this one is, all it does either moves it up or down. This is the one that deals with vertical shift. So if I do this, is that now this particular function is going to be moved up 2. So now this function is going to move up 2, which is this function here. That's going to be moved up 2. So this one's going to go up 1, 2. And now we got this graph. And we are done. That would be our end result. Some of you guys are still wanting to do it with a table of values. So if we do a table of values, which takes much longer, and eventually you would have to learn it this way, is that if we do take a table of values, it should satisfy this graph. See, this graph is going to be satisfied. It will be on this graph. So watch, x and y. Let's plug in the point x is 3. I better get an output of 2 if I plug it in. In reality, I don't know. Yeah, if you want to do a table of values, in reality it should be satisfied in this function. What I'm saying here, look, if I plug in x is 3 and the output better be 2. So if I plug in x is 3, okay, so if I plug in x is 3, so that gives me 3 minus 3 is 0. Absolute value of 0 is 0. There's no such thing as negative. So you're still going to get 0 plus 2 is 2, which is exactly what I just said. Y is going to be 2. If x is 3, y is 2. So it satisfies any point on the graph would be satisfied by it. It should have gone through here. Sometimes graphing it So if I plug in x is 5, the output better be 0. Output is 0. If I plug in x is 5, the output better be 0. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Take the absolute value of that. Absolute value of 2 is 2, but we have a minus in front of it. So now we're going to get negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So y is 0, which is exactly what I just said, that the output is going to be 0. And it just goes on and on and on. So it wouldn't be recommended that you do a table values. It would recommend that you understand what transformations and how to do transformations on a graph. So one more time. The first one is going to be the first transformation is going to be reflected about that x-axis. The next transformation is going to be that it's going to be shifted. That v is going to be shifted right 3 units, and then up 2 units, and then we're going to put and have this graph. And that would be it, and we're done.